Welcome everyone to a different edition of videos that I'm doing. Normally, of course, you all know me for Scoundrel Faction and the cool things that they can do, but it came to my attention on the Operation Metaverse livestream the other night that many people don't know some of the ways that Phoenix can counter other teams, and Phoenix were one of the ones that I put a lot of time and energy into early in my Swigo career, much to the dismay and ridicule of my guild, but I will say I found a great use for them in many different areas of the game in Grand Arena as of late, not just, of course, for ships, which I think a lot of people have them for. So I'm going to show you 4 different factions. First, of course, is the Karth OR squad. It is one that many people are using, everything from a JTR to Ewoks to other ones. I like Phoenix for this because you can be a little bit maybe under-geared compared to them, and that's a nice thing to have whenever you're looking for other squads to take on maybe more challenging counters than this one. So let's just look at it from the logistics perspective. The main reason this does well is that you can essentially thank Kanan and his unique. Hera shares all their uniques, which is great, but Kanan's unique heals back every time they take a debuff. And on a team that's laying down so many debuffs, knowing that even if he loses his protection, he's going to be healing up a good vast chunk of his health back every time he takes that debuff. It doesn't make them impervious to the damage, but it definitely keeps them alive a lot longer than I think the OR squad would want. So in this instance, you see, he's just loaded. He's got 19 dots on him, Kanan does, and he's doing just fine. But that does lead us to probably the first Zeta I would say is mandatory, and that's going to be Kanan's. He is the one that has the team cleanse, and that is really important in your survivability long term. Against this team or any others, I think that's the one that I would say you really need to have if you're going to use them on offense effectively. If you don't, you can pretty much eliminate half of the squads that you'd want to counter, if not more, because they do need to survive, and that's a really important one. The next Zeta I think is important is Hera. 2 reasons, of course. Sometimes you'll see ability block or stun get landed on Kanan, and if he is your cleanser, again, you're going to want him to be able to do that. And if he can't do that, you run the risk of your squad getting someone on them dying, and you don't want that. Hera's Zeta on Plate of Strengths will cleanse him, give him turn meter, allow him to cleanse again, and it reduces his cooldowns, and it adds potency. The potency, I think, is important in instances where you don't need a cleanse, but you want to daze a high tenacity Zalbar or some other person on the other side. You use her Zeta and her ability on Zeb. That gives him increased potency, a much higher chance to land daze, and gives your team overall a lot more control of the map and control of the battle. So I'd say Kanan first, Hera second. You could make an argument for Sabine because her AoE is just so powerful once you put the Zeta on it, but for the most part, I think Hera's is going to be more important to your overall success using them as a counter. One other thing I want to mention here is I've got my Chopper in instead of Ezra, and that I think is mainly due to the fact that most people are using Ezra in a Jedi squad. I know I do as well, and I think it's nice to be able to use him in these instances. He does actually bring a lot to the team, including things like the assist and the reduction of their cooldowns. It has a dispel. He can taunt. He brings a lot to the team that I think people underestimate. Against this squad, the Night Sisters, I can use this on AV or Mother Talzin lead. Either one doesn't really matter. You just have to be a little bit more careful, mainly because Daka can stun lock you with all the tenacity down that's going on, and as soon as you start getting things going, all of a sudden you realize your whole team's stun locked and you can't do anything, and that's super annoying. So be careful whenever you're using it against Night Sisters. I say they're probably the one that's a little bit more challenging. You'll definitely want to be at their gear level or better, and you'll also want to avoid them if they have something like a Spirit in the 5th spot. Last caveat that I put here on that is the 5th spot for this squad or any others. If there's something crazy in there like a Nest or a Wampa, don't try it. It's really not going to be worth your time and energy. They can easily be squished by something like that. So, but on these vanilla counters like you're seeing right here, they do a really good job of, one, surviving, and two, just picking down the entire squad on the other side. More importantly, though, if you're using these in GA or in the upcoming Grand Arena Championships, you're going to want max banners, and I tell you, it is getting harder and harder to win with anything more than maybe 20 or 30 banners. So every banner is really important, and I really like the fact that they can be used to get max health and protection by the end of the battle because of the unique sharing that Kanan and Zeb does. Last counter you'll see here is General Grievous. This isn't the best modded squad I've seen, and definitely not one that matters too much, because even a well modded and geared Newt or a well modded and geared other droid comp with B1 in there, I've seen them all, and I've used Phoenix on most all of them. Droidic actually added a little bit more of a wrinkle than I wanted because of the mark that he got, and of course the damage immunity that he got. That was a little bit of an annoyance, but it didn't change the outcome of this battle. There was no way it was going to go for the other team. And what I also like about Chopper is that he can stun droids on the other side whenever he uses his special. So another really good one that you'll probably see more and more of as people are gearing up their Separatists, and Phoenix do an amazing job of countering them. So I'm going to let this play out. You'll see it definitely worked well for me and ended up giving me a high banner count. But overall, I think hopefully this gives you more to think about whenever you're looking at what you have left on the table for your Phoenix faction. And even if you don't have them super well geared, they can still do a really good job as a hard counter against a lot of these other teams. So again, hope this was helpful. If you have questions on it, let me know. You can find me in the Scoundrel server, and I will see you on the holotables.